Welcome to Burgin's 5 Stars, your favorite segment. Every week we're coming at you, new topics, new 5 things that we love to talk about and get your opinions on. Chance has been definitely helping me out lately. I'd love to hear what he thinks on these things too. I'm trying to be less biased as possible, but these are my 5, so you can have your 5. And I think to me, watching these NBA playoffs, there can be so much of one-on-one games, Bird, Magic in particular, in the past. I miss a good rivalry. I miss two guys that just can't stand each other. They will do anything at any cost to win and take advantage of the guy in front of them. We never got to see Kobe and LeBron in the NBA Finals, like we did with Bird and Magic. And at some point now, Bird and Magic have become friends, but during that time, they did not like each other. I think we're going to get that next week with the Knicks and the Pacers. These two teams have never liked each other, and I think with what happened last year, you're going to see some of the best basketball you've ever seen. And I also think that Thunder and Wolves is a huge rivalry to come in basketball. I think this is the changing of the guard in the NBA with LeBron and Curry and all these guys. I think these 4 teams are the future of the NBA the next 5 or 10 years. And I think that Anthony Edwards, the way he plays, and you know how he plays, he's ready. He's a stone cold killer. I think he's really going to get into it with some of these Thunder players. I think you're really going to have some good rivalries in the NBA for this Final Four. But that leads me to the top 5 rivalries. Number 5, Ali versus Frazier. There was nobody that talked the game like Ali, and there was no rivalry between him and Joe. And I hated that I wasn't alive because boxing is not the same as it was back in the 70s. Even with Tyson in the early 90s, there really wasn't many rivals for Tyson. But I wish boxing was more. I really do enjoy boxing. I enjoy MMA. But to me, Ali Frazier has to be in the top 5. And again, it's one of the few combat sports you can actually take it out on somebody in a rivalry. Number 4, Brady versus Manning. I don't think these two ever hated each other, but I do think there was a very big competitive rivalry of who were the better in the two. And Tom, I think, always had the better team. I think Peyton was actually the better quarterback. I think that was always the big thing, kind of like the Chamberlain and the Russell rivalry back in the day in basketball. Bill had the better teams and won the championships, but Chamberlain was probably the better one-on-one player. So yeah, Manning and Brady, number 4. Number 3, Tiger and Phil. Now again, most people would say this is not a rivalry because Tiger won so much, but I'm telling you, there was at one point, I feel like these two, my favorite clip of one time is when they're at the one of the golf tournaments and they're listing out Tiger's accomplishments, and Phil's like, all right, enough. But I think he didn't like I think Phil's a very competitive person. Obviously, you can see by his gambling record, he spent like $30 million in a year gambling on sports. I think he's a very competitive person, and he wanted to beat Tiger and didn't like Tiger at one point. And there was a time where he got at Tiger and beat Tiger when nobody else could. So that was one of my favorite rivalries. I know it's not too much anymore, even though both guys are still playing. Number 2, Federer and Nadal. I know the Jokers come in now, Djokovic, and had some good rivalries, but when Federer and Nadal were going at it, that to me was I know Nadal was more successful on clay, but those two right there were some of the best individual one-on-one matchups. And again, not many other team sports do you get really one-on-one matchups like you do in tennis. So that's why I have it higher on my list. And then number 1 is Bird and Magic. I think because they played in college and the national championship, it led to 3 or 4 championships against each other. Again, Bird would say, I used to check the paper every day to see how Magic did, and vice versa. Like I said, I think, a lot of things led up to why they maybe were led to not like each other, which they end up, being very much a lot more in common than they thought they were. But during that time, it was so sided between people. You either like Bird or you like Magic, and that to me will always be the number 1 rivalry until somebody else steps up and it takes a toll from them. But I don't think anybody will. So, Chance, do we miss anybody?
I'm just gonna say I think that the reason that the Brady and Manning and those rivalries do so great is because it's not about calling somebody a little or like belittling someone on the court. Like most of basketball and soccer even has a lot of sometimes. Yeah. Like when you make it personal, I don't like those rivalries. Okay. I think those are dumb rivalries. I think that's what leads to wasn't it the Pacers and whoever that had the brawl in the stands. Yeah, brawl in the stands. So I don't like those kind of rivalries based off of attitudes. I like the rivalries of I can put up more points than you. I've got a better stat than you. Like everything that you can actually prove and not off of macho-ness.
Confidence and not macho-ness.
So I think that makes rivalries amazing. And that's what, like when you said the fighting though, that's different.
Yes.
And I think those rivalries are also more for show.
Yes.
If you ever look at that, they're all making money, and I don't think they really actually hate each other.
But I do like the fact that you can actually put things in your own hands.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think, and that's what hockey is so great too. I love the penalty box.
Yeah.
Because you have to see the person right next to you after you just fought them. So like I think that makes things a little bit better. But take the macho-ness out of it and just prove you're better and talk your crap through your game. And you can talk your crap through your words, but just don't call them a whatever.
Yeah. Well, I thought what Jordan was saying, one of his favorite things he would say is like, it's easy to talk crap when you're winning.
Yes.
Not when you're tied or losing. That it's easy to be a front runner. So
and when you're the one coming back doing all that, it's usually just the look on the face that makes people realize how good you are.
Yeah, that's a great point. Great point. All right, this is the one where I definitely got to get your opinion on, because with the Curry, with the Lillard, with the injuries that have happened with Jason Tatum, what are the 5 worst injuries in sports that are not life-threatening? We're not talking a broken neck or anything like that can knock somebody out. We're talking about something that you are still conscious for, that you have to just deal with, that happened at the site of the pain when it happens. Number 5, broken rib. I think getting hit by a linebacker or a defensive end, or getting knocked in boxing, or a hockey shot to the rib, that to me has got to be I've never had a broken rib before, knock on wood, I never will, but that to me has got to be inside of you, like something you can't really see and fix, and eventually I'm sure you've had broken ribs?
I've had plenty of broken ribs.
And painful?
I mean, yeah, usually when you breathe, cough,
yes.
laugh. For me, laughing, that was the worst. You can't laugh. It hurts. So, yeah, it's usually just annoying more than anything, but it keeps you from doing a lot of things.
Number 4, a torn hamstring. I think to me, that is one of the biggest muscles you use that you really don't know. And I think to me, for what I can see, it's probably this is what Curry's got right now, not torn, but it's probably one of the hardest to judge when you can finally come back on. Like, when is your hamstring fully healed and everything? I feel like, a couple times I've seen guys, Anthony Richardson in particular, when he played for Florida, he pulled it, and every other time it was always coming back and lingering. I feel like it's a lingering industry, but if you tear it completely, I think that would probably be a very, very painful injury.
Well, it's the same with that. Like you said, you use it in everything. Same with your ankles. When you have an ankle sprain lingers with you for months if you never actually just do nothing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's because you can never stay off your feet.
Yeah.
Same with your hamstrings and quads. You use them if you walk.
Yeah.
Or if you sit.
All right, number 3, broken leg. I think because you can see it, you can still walk with a broken and do most of your things with a broken arm.
So I had to ask for this question. Broken leg, do you mean a femur or do you mean tibia or fibia?
I'm saying something that comes out of the skin, most likely. It's a complete break, that a bigger bone.
Okay.
I would say probably the
femur is this.
No,
that's you might stunt your growth. You might
Okay. I'm just saying any broken leg in particular.
Extruding from the skin.
Yeah. I think that seeing it, knowing it, you see most of those guys, they go into shock when it happens. Lattimore, Prothrow, a lot of guys in particular. I think that, to me, I know a blown out knee is probably pretty tough too, but seeing something bust through the skin, I think to me that's got to be one of the worst, like a broken leg.
So skin heals very easily.
Yeah.
A bone actually heals easier too when they fuse it back together.
Have you ever broken a leg?
I've broken my feet, my arms, my every finger and thumb.
Okay.
I have not broken a leg.
Okay.
I have not had, and let's keep that. But I have fractured my arm.
Okay.
But
never a leg.
Didn't fully break. No, that's crazy to think about. But of the knee injuries and looking at how people have rehabbed, the healing factor is quicker, I think, for broken bones than it is for the ligaments. So I would always say the ligaments worse.
Okay. Number 2, broken nose. I think, to me, a baseball hitting it or somebody knocking it, like, it's your face. I think your face is one of the most sensitive parts of your body. And I think, to me, getting your nose go sideways, I just think that would be very painful, because there's so many things you breathe and you sleep and all that stuff. Never had a broken nose, knock on wood, but that, to me, I think you have. And
I have, and I mean, from the plenty of boxing and other stuff, but
was it like a real broken, like I remember when
smashed up and had to reset it, and it obviously, like, the swelling, the black eyes, that's always fun for the next week. But no, the worst part about it is too many of them or too many issues, and you can create a deviated septum.
Wow.
And then you've got breathing issues for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So there's always lingering issues with these certain type of injuries.
Yeah. And this one may be wrong, but I think the Achilles popping. Kobe's still shot. Kyrie's still shot. So maybe I may be wrong on this, but I would think that would be one of the most painful. It's got to be one of the most longest rehabs. That to me seems like such a you don't really see or feel the Achilles and the tendons in there, the MCLs, but that back Achilles, you can feel that, and I could just imagine that popping, how much pain that would be in. Maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, ever since the scary movies back in the day where they're like, they're out from under the cars.
Stuff
like that. Like that always made me think that's the worst pain ever.
Yeah.
So I agree. I think the fear that we've never felt it makes us think that too. But I've talked to a few people that I've played flag with that have come back from Achilles, and they said that it's one of the worst injuries they've had, but the rehab for them, they didn't complain about or anything. Okay. So I wonder,
maybe it's that quick pain of it happens and then nothing after that.
Right, and maybe the rehab is they know it's stronger and better, and it's not as old as we are now.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's how new ligaments feel in other ways. So I wonder if that is the case for the Achilles. But I agree with you. I think that would be the worst one for me as well. So yeah.
Well, that's our top 5. Like and comment. See what you think. We hate injuries. Love rivalries. Hopefully we get some good ones with the playoffs going on. Y'all enjoy the rest of the playoffs, and we'll see you next week. Titan Tigers.